My name is Andrew Jacob Brown, founder of Confound Productions and producer of 6 multi-award-winning feature films. Our most important project yet is called After, an apocalyptic faith drama 8-episode series now in post-production. But we still need a lot of help if we want a series with the gospel message to reach a wide audience. Will you help us grow this channel? Let's get into the Word. What's going on, everybody? This is Andrew Jacob Brown with Confound Productions. Welcome to the After Series channel, where we talk about anything that's related to the After Series. In today's video, we are going to talk about what would happen if the rapture happened today. This is just a little fun scenario, according to studies, and so hang on tight for the ride because we got a lot to talk about. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing we got to talk about is if the rapture of the church happened today, which means millions of people would be disappeared all over the world, what would happen? Well, the first thing that would happen would be the immediate chaos in daily life. Immediate chaos in daily life. So transportation accidents. So you're going to have pilots vanish in mid-flight, planes crashing, drivers disappearing, which means cars would crash into each other, trains derailed if a conductor disappears, if he's a believer. Infrastructure breakdown, so power plant operators vanish, rolling blackouts start, water treatment plants could fail, contamination begins. What else? We got communication breakdown, which means phone networks and internet falter without technicians. Emergency services can't respond quickly. So these are just scenarios right off the bat that will have immediate chaos in our daily life if the rapture of the church happened today. Millions of people disappeared on this planet in the twinkling of an eye. So the second thing we would see would be an economic collapse. An economic collapse, well, financial systems. So banks would freeze or fail. ATMs might stop working. Stock markets may crash due to automated systems or panic selling. Supply chains disruptions, like grocery stores emptying quickly, gas stations run out of fuel, factories halt production. What about currency instability, like inflation spikes and people hoarding cash or barter? We'd have multiple news headlines flashing markets freeze, stuff like that. Crazy stuff. We'd also have a social breakdown. What does that look like? Well, law enforcement gaps. Police, firefighters, EMTs, all gone. Crime rises and fires spread. So if you don't have any of those people to call out to, in the Call of Duty to come to your rescue, you're going to have lots of crime and there's nothing you can do about it. And then fires can spread. What else? Riots and looting, which means you got crowds panicking over food, water, supplies. That can turn into something very ugly. I mean, he thought the toilet paper thing was bad. Civil unrest, which means there'll be martial law may be declared. Chaos in urban centers. It's endless. We would also have a medical crisis. A medical crisis, which means hospitals would collapse, surgeries interrupted, patients left untreated, disease outbreaks, lack of sanitation and vaccines, disease outbreaks. So we'd have a lack of sanitation and vaccines, and that increases infection risk. Mental health crisis. Survivors in shock, grief, and panic. Also, that would probably increase suicides. Maybe some people knew about the rapture and they didn't believe it until they saw it. Political and military confusion. We would have a leadership vacuum, so government leaders would disappear. That would lead to a crisis. Military accidents, ships, submarines, and aircraft left unattended, lots of accidents. We would have security breaches. Abandoned nuclear or chemical facilities pose hazard. This could be crazy if the rapture of the church happened today. Environmental hazard. Chemical plants disasters, unattended plant leaks, toxins, stuff like that. Nuclear threats, operators gone. We could have a risk of meltdowns. Fire hazards, so fires again can spread unchecked in cities and forests. And so you can see, you'll see smoke rises and, stuff. It could just be absolutely terrible. Psychological and spiritual impact. So again, I'm going to mention suicide. That could really have a psychological impact on someone. So there'll be lots of mass panic, people overwhelmed trying to understand the disappearances. I mean, that alone. Confusion, cult formation, extreme behaviors. I can talk a lot about that, but we don't have time. But family trauma. So you're going to have parents, children, spouses vanish. Emotional devastation. This is where more suicides might come in. You'll see a lot of people crying out, people screaming in the streets, news channels showing disbelief, all under psychological and spiritual impact. We have global disruption. In global disruption, so international relations, so you're going to have diplomacy stalls, conflicts flare. Amid chaos, you're going to have transportation and trade halt, so global shipping and aviation stop, worsening shortages, communication blackouts, so satellite operators gone, again, disrupting worldwide communications. So you'll have empty ports, grounded cargo ships and planes, blinking satellite maps. I mean, an immediate disaster all the way around the world if the rapture of the church happened today. So there's also some long-term consequences that this study showed, but mostly basically referring to the tribulation period that we're going to see these things happen. So you got food scarcity, which means farms unattended, crop spoils, livestock dies. You're going to have overgrown fields and abandoned cities, people scavenging for food, so pretty much an all-out survival. This is just a study and a scenario of what could happen, and they say within 72 hours of the rapture of the church. All right, so whether you believe in the rapture of the church or not, the tribulation period is something that is very real and talked about in the Bible. The things that are mentioned in the 7-year tribulation period, which is that 70th week of Daniel, are far more worse than the things that I mentioned to you in this video already. I believe we live in the last days, and the Lord will come back again someday. And the best thing we can do is watch, wait, and be ready, just like Matthew 24 says. Romans 10:9 says, if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus Christ died and rose again from the grave, you will be saved. It doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect from this day forward. It just means you're going to be perfectly forgiven. And you get to have a fresh start today and start walking with Christ. And that's all I have for you today. Just a very simple scenario of what could happen if the rapture of the church happened today. Thank you so much for all your support with the After series and watching this video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate your support. And until I see you in the next video, thank you and God bless you.